Good morning, class. Today we are going to look at lesson number 16, converting between currencies. So this is chapter 6.6 in your workbook, and I think it starts on page 172. So converting between currencies is essentially the same thing as converting between units. So let's say if we're going to convert between one Canadian dollar and one US dollar, we have our conversion equation, that is one Canadian dollar is going to be around 0.72 US dollars. So this conversion equation is going to be like the same as what you see, like 1 meter equals 0.91 yards. So we can do our conversions the same way. However, today I'm going to look at how to use a conversion table to do your conversions and how to understand what the numbers mean. So you can definitely use the way we've looked at it before, where we have our conversion equation. We're going to use that equation to convert, or we can use a table. Essentially, it's the same thing. I'll talk about the differences in a second here. So a couple of things to talk about currency. So currency is just what we call units of money. So common ones are Canadian US dollars. So that's going to be the dollar symbol that we're used to. And then we have euros, pounds, yen, a lot of different currencies that kind of go around the world, and they're going to have different symbols. Some currencies will have the same symbol. So Canadian dollar and US dollars share the same symbol, but they have different values. So they're not the same unit. So the C with the two lines through it, that's going to be euro. Then this S figure with the line through it, that's going to be for your British pound. And then the Y would be for yen. So you have Japanese yen or Chinese, I think it's also pronounced yen. So two different units, but they share the same symbol. So sometimes you have to be clear what unit you're working with. If you're working with like Canadian dollars or US dollars, you have to be clear. You can't just put a symbol. So currency is a bit tricky because it changes every day. So right now, one Canadian dollar is about 0.72 US dollars, but at one point in time, the Canadian dollar was actually worth more than the US dollar. It's about 1.6. One Canadian dollar equals about 1.6 US dollars. So there's not one number to remember. When we're converting between units of measurement, we always knew that 1 yard is going to equal 0.91 meters. I think I got it mixed up when I first said it, but that was the right one. Not that you can find it anyways, but with converting between currency, you always have to look for the latest change because it changes every day depending on how the economies are going in different countries. So if we're looking at a value, let's say we have one Canadian dollar. And we want to figure out what is the value of this one Canadian dollar. Well, the value of one Canadian dollar is going to be the same as 0.72 US dollars or 72 US cents. So the number is different, but the value of the unit is going to be the same. So one Canadian dollar has the same value as 72 US cents. The numbers are different, but the value is the same. So this is kind of like if we looked at units, we have like 10 meters is the same as saying we have 9.1 yards. Or sorry, 10 yards is the same as saying we have 9.1 meters. So the number is different, but the value that it stands for is exactly the same. So just thought I'd put that out there. So for at the end of this, we'll talk about how to figure out what currency is valued the most. And there's a lot of things that go into how a currency is valued, and that's like economics. So if you're curious about this, that would be like what you talk about in an economics course, in some of them anyways. So let's start by looking at this conversion table. It's on page 172 of your workbook. So I added it to the last page here, and let me just flip it around. I can, actually, I think I just rotate it here. There we go. Okay, so here we have a vertical column on the left that's going to have our units, so our currencies in it, as well as a horizontal column on the top that has our currencies in it. So what we want to do, I just get my notes out here, is when we're trying to convert between units, we're going to choose from the vertical column on the left the unit that we want to convert into. So let's say we're converting from Canadian dollars to US dollars. So the unit we want is going to be US dollars. So we find that value or that currency on the left vertical column. And then we want to keep that row. So let's see if I can highlight it here. So it's going to be our value is going to be somewhere in this row. And the values in the table are actually going to be the conversion value. So I'll show you how to use that in a second. So the unit we want from the left vertical column, and then the unit we want to convert, or the unit, that's the unit we want to convert into. Then the unit we have, we take from the horizontal column at the top. So we have Canadian dollars. So our conversion value is going to be the square that's in both the row and the column. So this is going to be this value here. So you may notice that this is a very different value than we had before. So we had that 1 Canadian dollar equals 72 cents US. What we have on this table is that 1 Canadian dollar, that's what we have, is equal to 0.92, or sorry, 96 US dollars. If we round up, it's like 97 cents. So this book was printed a while ago when the conversions were different. Today, the conversions are very different because I think it's been like 5-10 years maybe, and the currency has changed quite a bit. So it's actually a much smaller value. So this would actually be like 0.72. Now, with our conversions, we're going to go off these values. So we're going to be using the values in this table to convert between currencies. So if you use a currency converter app or Google, it's going to give you the up-to-date currency, which is good if you are going to buy something. But for these problems, I want you to look at how to do it without using that. And we're going to use these values. Okay, so we'll do a couple examples on how to use this table. So let's start with example number 1. So example number 1, we want to convert 10 Canadian dollars into British pounds. So we're first going to find the unit we want to convert into on the vertical column. So that's going to be the columns up and down here. So that's British pound. And then we want to find the unit we have on the top column. Again, we have Canadian dollars. So we look through and we find the square that's in the row and the column that we have chosen, and it's going to be 0.67. So if we go back up to example 1, we're going to convert it to British pounds, and we have Canadian dollars, so our conversion value is going to be 0.607. That means that 1 Canadian dollar is going to be 0.607 British pounds, or about 60 pence. I think it's 60 pence. I could be wrong. So to do the conversion, what we do is we take the value, the number that we have in Canadian dollars, which is going to be 10. That's the number we have. We're going to multiply our conversion value. So 10 times 0.607, and that's going to give us $6.07, or £6.07. So that's 6.07 British pounds. So that's how we use our conversion value. So we choose the value we want to convert into. So we choose the vertical column that we want to convert into, and the horizontal column at the top that we have. And that's going to give us a conversion value. And then it's always just the value that we have multiplied by that number. So it's a pretty straightforward method. It's just trying to make sure we find the right value. So let's look at this, and we'll do one more example here, and I'll kind of skip through finding it.